But my people have not even started. Unity. Have you tried the program? Okay, you have it. 103. Okay, continuities and discontinuities. Okay, it's purely virtual. It's virtual. It's virtual. It's very virtual. No, there are other attendants that will be coming in. All I mean, all the panelists will be online. I think. Wait. No, the chairperson is coming in person. The chairperson will be in person. Maybe because of the time. Anyway, better we set up on time. Shit. Oh, this guy, I don't trust him. But Nifem, are you there? Please, I need to bring my bag. Your office, my cross bag in your office. Secretariat. Please, send your assignment to me now. We sort it out. We sort it out. I'm teaching already now. What's it? Yeah, the chair is Mr. Olayemi Ajayi from the University I'm very important. All the panelists are in person. I used to get my cross back it's black. All right. It's black. Okay. Please come in. 107. 107 down. You have participants. Okay. The chair is around. Don't lie. Şey, ben şimdi video. Vamos check it out. You want to charge yes, stations? Good morning. Let's go. All right. Do you have any panelists? I guess panelists or just a guest. All right, please. Yes, sir. The chair is actually around. Okay, no. I mean the chair is around. So I just wait for other panelists. Nífẹ̀ẹ́ mi, please bring my close part. I need it, please. Nífẹ̀ẹ́ mi, please bring my close part. I need it. We come back. We come back.
How many people? That's a question. Online.
One person online.
One person online now.
1, 2, 3, and 5 persons. Apparently, this amount. That's what we'll come back. My crossbar. Hey, I'm just supposed to be food to make it so. I'm going to check out. Marisa. Marisa.
Anna. Good. Okay. You got to present.
I'm presenting also. Okay, you also pass the panelist, sir. Yeah, Mr. Please. No.
Okay. Don't allow him to escape. When he finishes, take him here. That's my step. Take him here. In fact, you never come telling me.
This is a different. This session is continuities and discontinuities. Yeah. Oh. Which one? Yeah. In visual art. Yes, in visual art. We're late. 93 a.m. No. The panel is actually, the chair is actually waiting for you, and the rest of it. There. Yeah, online. Oh. You Mr. Steven, right? Yeah. I can't have any Mr. Steven. I have Miss Folashada Folari. No. Steve Folari. Yes. Okay, I've seen it. Mr. Folari. So let me inform the chairman that you're around. So we can just start. The chair is online already. You can just start with you. We connect what if I have something? What happened? No, I have to connect. You want to connect? Internet. Okay. I'm going to join my. No. You can just present. You can just give me your. You can give me your flashes. Good morning, Mr. Olayemi Ajayi. Can you hear us, please?
Yes, please, I can hear you. Can you also hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Good morning, sir. Mr. Stephen Folarin is here now, one of the panelists.
Okay. Not Mr. That's Dr. Stephen.
Okay.
Folarin.
Is it Dr. Stephen?
Yes,
right?
is it one?
Yes, it's the one,
Yes.
Dr. Stephen Folarin, who is here now. But we can actually start because it is 9:35 now. Okay, you're also here too. Mr. Ogujim is also
Yes.
here too.
Okay, so that's just two panelists. Do we
Yes,
still have more panelists?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We can just start with it too because it is 9:36. Then the rest can join us.
Okay.
All right, sir. So over to you, sir. Good morning, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. I want to believe they can hear me over there.
Yes, they can hear you, sir.
Good morning, sir, Dr. Stephen and Dr. Polari. You're most welcome to this presentation today. This panel is going to actually be a very interesting one, judging by the number of manuscripts and articles we'll actually be considering, and then of course, judged by the erudites on board today. Dr. Stephen, very respected researcher globally, all the way from IFE and now at Rhodes University in South Africa. Then, of course, Dr. Ogunji Mitu, also an erudite in the field. So it's really going to be an interesting session today. Okay, so let me actually just do a very simple thing of giving my presentation using a very simple slide so that we can actually have the audience carried along. I want to believe that we have audience right there who are actually ready to really experience today's brilliant session. I want to welcome you all also to this session. Like I said earlier, it's going to be very interesting and of course quite insightful. I don't know, maybe I'll be able to share my slides or probably it's not allowed.
No, you can share your slides, sir.
Okay, sir. All right. Have I been enabled to share? Or
Yes,
I
you
have
can
to
share.
send to you?
No, you can share your slide from there.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, it's still saying only the host can share.
Okay, let me give it a minute.
All right, sir.
You can actually share your screen.
Well, we're
All right,
giving me
go
a
ahead.
signal
Now
here.
you can do it now. You can do it now.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Is it visible now?
We can see, but it's not that visible. Can you make it green? Okay, that is okay, good. That's great.
Is it better now?
Yes, better, sir.
Okay. Okay. So with this simple slide, like I said, I'm going to actually commence this session today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are across the world. My name is Ajayi Holayemi, and I bring you greetings all the way from DCT University, Ibadan, Oyo State, and also from the Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, Ogun State. Of course, today, what would actually be looking into is a very interesting aspect of art, basically being a facet of this, global conference ongoing. And then, of course, we actually want to really decipher into a core area of art considering continuities and discontinuities, and then of course the importance to African education, art, environment, and then of course the spirituality. Okay, distinguished scholars, respected panelists, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure and of course a sense of responsibility that I welcome you to this intellectual rich session focused on the theme, continuities and of course the opportunities in African visual arts, education and cultural histories. Looking at it very critically, this theme touches the very core of Africa's ongoing dialogue between tradition and, of course, transformation between preserving indigenous identities and then, of course, talking about indigenous identities and then embracing the imperatives of change modernity, and then, of course, talking about global connectedness. Why does this theme actually matter? This theme, of course, matters at its heart. It's actually a theme that invites us to interrogate the dual forces shaping African societies today. Looking at the continuity, of course, that has to do with the safeguarding of cultural heritage, visual traditions, educational philosophies, spiritual values, and of course, technological practices rooted in centuries of African knowledge. Then, on the facet of this continuity, the embrace of necessary change, be it in pedagogy, be it in art practice, be it in environmental stewardship, and of course, sacred expression spurred by global shifts, technological disruptions, socio-political evolution, and then of course, climate realities. These tensions are not oppositional, of course, but form a dynamic interplay that, of course, demands careful negotiation if African identities and futures are, of course, to be authentic and sustainable. Today's panel contributions based on the conference order of program, of course, the research papers to be presented today reflect this thematic concern from diverse but interconnected perspectives. Of course, would actually be looking at decolonizing curriculum, that is to say, challenging inherited educational structures to reflect indigenous knowledge systems. Then, of course, Nigerian softstone technology, which has to do with revisiting, and then, of course, revitalizing traditional artistic and craftsmanship. Then, of course, eco-conscious art practices, which has to do with harnessing artistic innovation for environmental sustainability. And also inclusive educational services, which have to do with shaping education to embrace all learners, particularly those with special needs. Then, of course, on the last note, sacred art evolutions, of course, talking about tracing change and persistence in religious visual culture. Before actually call on the panelists today, I want to actually, of course, make this special announcement that I am pleased to announce that the articles that will be presented in this panel session, and of course, the one we have on the 28th of this month, are being considered for inclusion in the forthcoming volume 3 of the groundbreaking publication, which is titled Brushstrokes of Knowledge, a compendium of visual art education, and historical insights. Now, of course, it's scheduled to be released in December 2025. The previous volume 2 of this compendium probably featured 3 scholarly chapters contributed by researchers from across the globe. And of course, and endorsement from distinguished international academics such as Professor Onu Ojedoku, Vice Chancellor of Protestant University of Rwanda, then of course, Professor Vincent Pironti, who happens to be the founder of Open University Humanizer, that's in Brazil. This publication, of course, has established itself as a seminar, internationally recognized platform in the fields of visual art education, and then, of course, historical inquiry. Of course, with the preparation for volume 3, the editorial mandate is clear to surpass the high standards set by previous editions by curating works that are even more innovative, impactful, and then, of course, reflective of global scholarly excellence. So this panel offers not only an opportunity for intellectual exchange, but also a potential gateway for contributions to join this landmark scholarly enterprise. So if I'm actually going to introduce the speaker, I want to actually want the panelists who are actually available right now to introduce themselves so that we can actually start from there. I want to actually ask that my host should actually help me convey my message to the panelists for them to introduce themselves so that properly start the interaction.
All right. So please introduce yourself.
My name is Stephen Falaromi. I am an artist and art historian. I teach artistry, African aesthetics, architecture at Rhodes University, South Africa. And I'm here to present my paper at LSA 2025. It's an honor to be here to be part of the presentation and the conference. And it's just wonderful to be here. Thank you for the panel chair for accepting my abstracts and giving us the opportunity to present some of the things that we're thinking about. Still an ongoing research. Thank you.
All right. Can you hear that?
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, I can hear that very clearly. Thank you so much, sir, Dr. Stephen.
Okay.
Yeah,
And of course, I respect your personality so much.
yeah. My name is Isaiah Ogunchimi. I'm from Obafemi Awolowo University and a postdoctoral research fellow at Rhodes University. I want to appreciate you for accepting my paper for presentation. Thank you.
All right, so that's the second person, sir. Can you just?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. You're most welcome, Dr. Ogunjimi, from, should we say, Rhodes University now, or probably Obafemi Awolowo University. Okay. I think that's a good collaboration, of course. I remember one song that would say, on a collabo. So either Rhodes University or Obafemi Awolowo University, you're most welcome. The most important thing is that the excellent representation which you have actually been giving the two institutions. Thank you so much for your presence here. I really appreciate your personality, and then of course I welcome you to this discussion. Do we still have any other panelists under the sound of our voice? Should we give the person the opportunity to introduce himself or herself so that we can really get into the discussion for today properly?
Right
Is there
now,
any
sir.
other panelists?
No, sir. That's the only one we have now, sir.
Okay. Right. I want to really, I would actually think that other panelists will actually join us as we proceed with this presentation. Of course, we have about 5 of them today who are supposed to be live on this program today, either physically or virtually, depending on their preferences. Of course, but because of time constraint, we cannot wait for them, just like as the host has actually instructed. And of course, we have a very brief, short time to do this presentation and inform our ever anticipating audience. So without wasting much time and of course respecting people's timing, I want to actually go straight into this presentation. I'm not going to actually be using the order because of the number of panelists who are currently available. So I'm going to actually be considering the panelists who are available right now. Then we're actually going to start with Dr. Isaiah Ogunjimi, Department of Fine Arts, Rhodes University in South Africa, and of course an academic at the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State. He is actually going to be talking about discontinuity and change in the use of baptistry, wall paintings in Baptist churches. Example of Osun State, Nigeria. Am I correct, Dr. Ogunjimi?
Yeah. All right. So, Mr. Ogunjimi, right? So let me share. All right. All right, so. So I will be every this slide. Just let me know.
No.
So you can start.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Isaiah Ogunchiwu, and I'm here to present my paper titled Discontinuity and Change in the Use of Baptistry Wall Paintings in Baptist Churches, example of Osun State, Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay. Yeah. Church was the major art patrons during the Renaissance period, and this is evident in the works of artists such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Ravel, and so many artists who were commissioned during this period to work for the church. And in Nigeria, Christianity was introduced around the 15th century. And when the missionary who introduced Christianity to Nigeria came, they also came with their own kind of art to decorate the church architecture. And since then, art has contributed greatly to the growth of Christianity in Nigeria. And we also have a lot of artists who have also worked for the church, the likes of Chief Rufus Ajidaun, Professor Yusuf Grillo. We also have David Dale, then and Baba late Fakeye. So this set of artists have labored in working for the church, and the depiction of biblical narrative for baptism are present. Presented in different services and media to communicate the biblical doctrine of baptism to members. So as we can see in the figures on the slide, so these are extracts from wooden door panels. Then next one. Then we also have the baptism of Jesus Christ by John the Baptist, also represented in mixed media, mainly mosaic. Then the fourth figure is a representation of a riverbank where baptism is being performed. And this is the example of baptistry wall painting by Baptist churches. Next. So Baptist faith is one of the traditional denominations of Christianity in Nigeria. And art has also been used to publicize this particular denomination, and mostly baptistry painting, wall painting, is the major art of the Baptist people. So the baptistry was not part of the initial church architecture built by the missionaries when they came into Nigeria. And they came through Abeokuta and Ijayi around 1850. So, and this particular baptistry wall painting, as I've said, is not the major, the missionary who brought the Baptists to Nigeria. They did not come with this particular initiation, but it is from the indigenous people who came up with this, and it is because of so many things, so many factors that are responsible for this. For example, when they consider the hygienic, the hygiene of the people, they consider that they need to bring the, they need to bring this kind of environment into the church. And that's the reason why they built church architecture with baptistry pool, where the artists are commissioned to make art that will reflect the riverbank with so many things as with natural rivers. So, but what is discovered recently is that most Baptist churches have now abandoned this heritage of baptistry wall painting. And that is the main purpose of this paper, to find out what will have been responsible for this. So let's talk about the statement of research problem. So in Nigeria, scholarship has discussed art and Christianity extensively, especially in the Catholic churches, with little or no mention of art in Baptist churches, particularly baptistry wall painting. So example of those scholars have been projected because of our time, and the available literature on art in Baptist churches in Nigeria is relatively scarce. So such studies that capture baptistry art are foreign, and this includes those of Mayan Fana and Tepa 2022. We have Chervini 2020, and so on and so forth. Next slide. So in summary, baptistry wall painting is the only venerated art among the Baptists in Nigeria. However, this artistic tradition, especially in Osun State, has witnessed significant changes occasioned by modernity, urban renewal, and construction of bigger and newer auditoriums. So the history related to the baptistry wall painting tradition will be lost, and the generation to come may not have a clue of how the baptistry looks like if completely eroded. Hence this documentation. The aim of this paper is to present, is to investigate the dynamics of discontinuity and change in the utilization of baptistry wall painting within Baptist churches, with a view to contributing to a deeper understanding of the role and relevance of art in Baptist churches in Nigeria, thereby advocating for its continuity as the only survivor tradition of the Baptist. So with this, in order to achieve this aim, I have three objectives. And the first one is to examine the historical, cultural, and theological context that underpin the use of baptistry wall paintings in Baptist churches. Number two is to analyze the dynamics of discontinuity and change in the use of baptistry wall paintings over time. And number three, to interpret the meanings of the baptistry wall painting. Methods and theory. Mainly this article, this study, this research uses qualitative approach where a field investigation is very, very important. And oral interview with the elders of the church, the pastors of the church are also conducted. So, and several photographs of these paintings are also taken. And the sampling techniques, the churches were purposely selected due to their location, and also the informants, the interviewers are also purposely selected based on their experience, the knowledge, as the elders in the church who may know the history of baptistry in the church, and as well as the pastor. And the analysis of the study was done using art historical methodology, mainly formal and descriptive analysis, coupled with theological analysis. Next. This particular article engages in dialogue with Berlin's theory of history of ideas. And this theory considers how individual, then group of people generate meanings to their heritage, and how this heritage persevere over time, how they continue, how they change. And that is the theory. That is the what the theory considers. And it is also corroborated with a Yoruba proverb, which says that Omotoba wa nili nini moili. That is, a child that is in the house has the knowledge of the house. So this contextually underscore the importance of documentation and continuity, and how to transfer the heritage of a particular people to the next generation. So therefore, this study rests on Berlin's history of idea and the Yoruba proverb, with their main aim thrust being historical documentation of baptistry wall paintings in Baptist churches in Nigeria, in Osun State. Findings and summary of the study. Number one, it was found out that baptistry wall painting was a result of outdoor, that is river baptism, that was abandoned for indoor pool for the following reasons. One, members' hygiene. They believe that the flowing river might have been contaminated from where it is flowing from. So because of that, it is injurious to the health of the people. So because of that, they moved the baptism into the baptistry in the church. Right back at the, at the back of the ministers on the altar. Then another reason is that the lack of a conducive place for redressing for both sexes after baptism, then for fear of being drawn And lastly, fear of incurring cold-related sickness. So because of this, baptism was transferred to the church, and it was planned with the church architecture. So another finding reveals that baptism was taken indoor, where baptistry wall paintings was done when the first schism occurred in the Nigeria Baptist Convention. And this is what was viewed as modernism, when many congregations were able to build modern church auditoriums. Next. Another finding revealed that some churches are still going to the natural river for baptism, especially those churches that are close to the river, and those churches whose architectural design of their churches was not planned with a baptistry because they could not afford the cost, or maybe due to the small size of the church building. Next one. Another finding reveals that baptistry wall painting is a symbol. That is the meaning, a symbol of Baptist doctrinal belief. And this painting we are looking at is symbolizes the riverbank, reflecting trees, palms, trees, birds, green grasses, vegetation, flowing body of water, landscape, which reveals an ideal riverbank where everything is visible as with the natural river. Then the quietness of the flowing river denotes the Holy Spirit, as it is discovered from the account of creation that water has a connection with the Holy Spirit. The Bible says, and the Spirit of the Lord is hovering over the surface of the deep. And that is the connection with the Holy Spirit. And the second image that we are looking at here also represents Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist. We say the symbol of a bell, which is a symbol of the Holy Spirit on his head. So, in essence, the quietness of the flowing of river denotes the Holy Spirit. Yeah, next one. Another finding reveals that Baptists believe in baptism by total immersion, and it indicates that the individual to be baptized will be dipped in water completely, not by sprinkling of water. So the moment the person is in the water, he or she symbolically dies to sin. And when the person is being raised from the water, he is alive with Christ. Next, yeah, this is the discontinuity and change now. So it is also found out that construction and building of so-called modern structures has now repositioned the place and use of baptistry art in some Baptist churches. So some of them that have a baptistry often cover it with fabric decoration. Okay, so and with this we hide the heritage, the only surviving heritage of the Baptist, the Nigerian Baptist Convention. So looking at these images, we see that this is a modern building. We does not, though they have a kind of baptistry, but this painting we are talking about is not represented there. Then this one, it is represented, but it is covered with fabric decoration. Next slide, please. Yeah, that one that was covered with decoration, this is what they do to it. Whenever they want to, they have baptism, they lose part of the aspect of the decoration to make sure that they baptize the new converts. And this is supposed not to so. And this second, I mean, the figure here is showing pastor baptizing in new converts. Next. Another finding reveals that Baptist churches that use fabric decoration partially cover the altar, and the baptistry for the purpose of easy access during baptism, as we can see these two churches. So this one covers, I mean, partly. This one cover the, I mean, the space around the baptistry. The next one. Finding also revealed that modern cathedrals do not even accommodate space at the back of the ministers on the altar in Baptist churches for baptism. Instead, they create space for interior decoration or backdrop. So this church is what we are looking at now. I mean, the image in figure 16 is what we see inside this church. Meanwhile, they have another place for baptism. Next. I don't think that's it. It remains one before then. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the conclusion. The paper has examined the dynamics of discontinuity and change in the baptistry wall painting tradition in Baptist churches in Osun State, and has established the significance of the baptistry wall painting as the only enduring and unique aspect of the Nigeria Baptist Convention artistic heritage that communicates the biblical doctrine of baptism members. The paper concludes that history cannot be completely wiped away. It's part of the history that may give way for modernism, especially when documentation is lacking. And if this persists in Baptists, the tradition will be eroded so that the younger generation may not have a clue of what the church, I mean, how the church looks like. It is therefore recommended that baptistry wall paintings in Baptist churches should be valued as the only unique symbol and artistic tradition of the Baptists. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Obunjimi Isaiah, all the way from Rhodes University, South Africa, then of course, Obafemi Awolowo University. We really appreciate your presentation. For now, we will actually still send the questions and answers from our audience while we allow the second panelists to actually enlighten us on what he has come to present today. And of course, the next presenter, based on availability right now, is going to be Dr. Polari Stephen, same from Rhodes University in South Africa. And of course, he would actually be talking about the eco-consciousness, culture, and environmental sustainability, upcycling, upscaling, and recycling of plastics by artists in Nigeria. And of course, I want to believe this is going to be a very interesting topic, just like we have the first speaker who had actually been able to radiate and reflect on the discontinuity and change in the use of baptistry wall paintings. So, Dr. Stephen, because of time constraint, we're going to be having you to present your presentation today for just 10 minutes, sir. We hope we're going to actually be able to keep the time, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, good morning, listeners, colleagues, friends, and interested panelists. My name is Stephen once more, and the title of my paper extracts issues from the environment. It's something that's dear to my heart. I'm a member of Nigerian Field Society, and we talk about and deal with issues about the environments that plagues us. Incidentally, this year, World Health Organization also dwells on how we can deal with plastics. We use it every day. Even in this room, we still have plastic bottles of water that we use to drink. The question is, should we be using it, or should we find a way to manage what we do with the after effects of plastic? So not to bore you with these details, it just shows the details on the screen shows you the enormous tons and tons of material waste that's generated from plastic. We know that Nigeria has a very huge population, and we use plastic a lot, coming from petrochemicals. And when we use this non-degradable materials, we have not particularly succeeded in how to manage the material as it should be. What I'm presenting is an ongoing research, and I'm looking at 4 artists. Out of these 4 artists, I've been able to assess 2 of the artists. I have images from all of them, and these artists actually present works as artists, trying to mitigate the material that we're talking about, plastic. What are they doing with the plastic? When we discard them, we have artists now who take up this material and turn them into beautiful things that we want to see. So I was driving to Lagos yesterday. There's this truck turned around from one side of the road, and it was facing traffic on the other side of the road. But what interests me is the collection of the various plastics that are then taken to some local recycling or upcycling factories that are dotted. Some of them are dotted along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and in other parts of Lagos and even Ibadan, where these plastic materials are then used. A few weeks back, I saw a video where some of these plastics find themselves into some very nefarious activities where people clean them again and fill them with other drinks. So I think it's something that government will also continue to look at, where people are collecting and they say they are upcycling or recycling, what actually goes into the processes of what they are dealing with. And so some of the words I'll be looking at is what is upcycling, what is upscaling, and what is recycling. They're all similar, but they dwell on certain specifics with respect to whether we're giving more value to the plastic, or we're turning the plastic into something else so that it can be manageable. And I start with this Yoruba proverb. It says, and the proverb really particularly means that there's a ikpa is a kind of a worm that infects the dog and tries to eat. I think it's a tapeworm, I think, and tries to eat the dog from the inside, not realizing that when the dog dies, his mode of feeding actually ends. In essence, I'm exploring eco-consciousness from the perspective of the fact that we humans, we extract petrochemicals, we produce them into plastic, and we're also degrading our environment with these same materials that we're using. And so when we go to hospitals now, we start finding traces of plastics in our system, and people are having kidney issues and so on and so forth. So the question is not whether we should use plastic, but how we manage the use of plastic, because as it were, I don't think we can actually do without using plastic. I mentioned earlier, celebrating World Environment, they said ending plastic pollution. So it didn't say ending the use of plastic. We must end its pollution. When we finish using them, where do we find them? How do we dispose of them? Can we be responsible in its use? But we must, in all of it, we must end the pollution. Yeah. Globally, an estimated 11 million tons of plastic waste leak into aquatic ecosystems each year. And this actually leads me to one of the some of the artists that I'm dealing with, who start creating works of art with fishes and so on, because fish is related to water. And fish is one of the main protein source that humans eat. So we throw plastic into water, then we go get the fish back, and then we eat fish and then inject plastic. So if you reflect back on the proverb, yeah. This is a photograph from by Nigerian famous photographer Andrew Sibio, taking photographs of tire in Nigeria, just reflecting to. So scrap tires are global. It's a global problem with dumping them in developing nations. So when we go to Alaba or Toyota or wherever to buy some of this tire that lasts for like 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, and we dump them somewhere. It's all part of it. But then, what are people doing? I mean, these are artists, which are honest, creating marvelous sculptures from this. So imagine these same dump tires that are now made into these beautiful sculptures. You can keep them in the house, and because they are not degradable, they can stay there for long. In fact, we have sculptures today that are made of concrete that we need to continue to maintain. Tires need little maintenance. Same thing here. The artist on the right, they're huge sculptures of tires. So the tires are becoming something that we can begin to admire. Here, one of the things here is that there's a crocodile there made out of tire, but also the interlocking tiles there actually from shredded tire, compacted and made into interlocking. But there's a company in Ibadan doing that. I've forgotten the name of the company now, and they are starting up to use the same tire to produce that. So we have artists and people that are actually being responsible in the use of this material. There's an artist by work by Clement Adesanya. So if you have GP tanks or whatever the brand name is, I'm not trying to advertise for GP here. Clement will soon visit your home to pull the plastics down and turn them into something that is quite wonderful. Plastic don't only affect fish, aquatic life, all the beautiful things undersea, turtle being among them. So, and then that's a huge rhino that's now at Bafemelo University in Ife. Made of the same plastic. I don't think people are thinking about what can we use our plastic tanks for. Next slide, please. Yeah, next. I talked about fish earlier. This is Benga Adeku, whose father is also an artist. At the moment, is in Turkey, trying to also use plastic for some of the project that he's doing in Turkey. And this title says, Riru Emi. When you throw plastic in the water, you mess up with the aquatic system, and then the life within the body of water is endangered. And that's what is all plastic from your bottled water and so on. Next, please. Yeah. A close-up shot of that same work, all plastic. And all plastic, you can imagine that plastic there, and it says this one is a pet sculpture. Next. Now there's this. Benda Agdeku has not only just been using the plastic to make fishes and other animals, but he also makes insects. And there's a collaboration that he has developed with Nike, and then now it's moving on to Puma, branding these sneakers that are also made from plastics and creating this insect into them. Next. Same images. Those insects at the back, they are made of plastics. Next. The annual social and environmental cost of plastic pollution ranges between 300 billion and 600 billion annually. We mess up the environment by creating this. So I'm asking the question, if we turn it around and we find artists that can take up this plastic and do wonderful things in them, can we turn these figures, instead of environmental pollution, to environmental sustainable art made by artists? Next. My conclusion. The insect thing, he said, to iralo iwo ole, kíyèsí iṣẹ́ rẹ, kí o sì gbọ́n. Go to the ants use slogan. Consider its ways and be wise. I think these artists, what they are doing is they are championing minimal environmental footprints and cultural insight. I mean, draw from their culture and draw from their elements. And they're asking us to be wise, so that when we finish taking that bottle of water, where do we throw it? How do we use it? Thank you.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Folarin, for the excellent presentation. We would have actually given more time, and because it's a very elaborate discussion, but because of time constraint, of course, we have to close this session according to the organizer, and of course, that's why we have to really constrain the time. So I want to believe that the presentation we are going to actually be a book chapter in the book, like I said earlier, which will be hard 25. So because of time constraint, we have about 8 minutes more to end this session. So we want to actually give our experts the opportunity to ask one or two so that we can actually use that to wrap up this fantastic session while we meet again on the 28th of this month for the second phase of this panel. So do we have anybody from the audience?
Question, right? Yes, question. Okay, yes. Sir, we have a question, sir. All right, please ask. Yeah, okay, speak loud so that I can listen.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thank you to the presenters for the wonderful presentations. I enjoyed each one of them. I'm an artist, and I was also just yesterday the white plastic that fall off from our tags. You know, I was busy picking them because I want to use them for something creative. So it's exciting to see what you have just talked about. Thank you. And a little comment on that I want to make. I know in some countries, the producers of this have been challenged to think of ways that they themselves can handle their own wastes. Meaning, this is Unilag water, for instance. So Unilag would be challenged to think of ways it can take back these bottles from we, the consumers. So what some of such companies have done is when you come to buy their products, they would give you a percentage off, off the cost if you're able to bring the waste bottle. So personally, I've been to South Africa, and a particular makeup company does that. So the empty bottles from makeup, they would look little, but they are plastics and they are recyclable. So when you bring your empty bottle, they give you a percentage off the new one you're buying. So a lot of people will take back their containers to them.
Yeah, if I may respond to that, I think sometimes I don't know why it takes us time to get there. Because, I mean, what you're saying now, it's not even new. Far back, like 2006, 2007, 2008, there are supermarkets in Germany. So if you go to a spa in Nigeria or whatever, you buy a drink, let's say for 50 naira. It's sold for you at 55 naira. If you take back the bottle, you have a machine in the store. You would throw your plastics into and I have videos of that. You throw plastics into the machine. It shreds. For each machine, it shreds, but it's counting. So when we take water in our houses in Germany, what we do is that you actually keep them in a plastic bag, waiting for the next time when you visit the store. You shred that, you get back your €5 or whatever, back into, I think it was 25 cents in those days. You get back your ticket, and then you can take back to the counter, take your euro, or use it to buy other things. I mean, if it was way back, I'm just wondering, why wouldn't you, even if companies can't do it themselves, maybe perhaps government need to resolve some of this, and they could do that. Okay, give one machine to Unilag to shred. And this shredded material can then be used for other things. I mean, people are using shredded plastic for winter jackets and so on.
Yeah, thank you. And then for the first presenter, I have a little question, or interest rather. You talked about the Baptist churches and all that. First of all, I observed that your images were mostly of African, faces, And I was pleased with that to learn that it's like that in Baptist churches, because some other churches are not like that. And I'm particularly excited by a country like Kenya. In Kenya, most of their Christian sculptures and paintings are of blacks. So you see a black Jesus, you see a black Peter, you see a black this, black Mary, and all that. It's a part of the colonization system that a country uses. So my question is this. You talked about the fact that being a Nigerian, studying this things puts you at an edge. That's great. But I was also wondering if you're a member of the Baptist Church, studying this from an insider, because if you're from the outside, I mean, that's fantastic, but there is a limit that your research will have. So I was just wondering where you belong, if you're a member of the church and if you're talking from inside.
Actually, I will practice labor. And concerning the one you spoke about the restoration of the figure, actually, those images, especially the wooden door panels, the structure of the wooden door panels, they are created by those old artists who are commissioned by Catholic churches. You know, when the missionary came to Nigeria and they found as kind of art that we were doing, and they had been to the friendship or they called it evil spirits. And because of that, so many people bring out everything and begin to burn. But later, the same missionary who said that what you are doing was bad, they commissioned the artists to create art for the churches. But then they use indigenous style and forms. So the likes of Baba Fakede was commissioned to create art for the churches. So because of that, they used black wood to reflect Africa. Then the form of the words is also traditional, not contemporary. Okay, in order to make it look like traditional art that the missionaries have already condemned. But then use it by people story. And this is to bring people close to the new religion they have raised. You get it? So that is the reason why they use those materials.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Dr. Gujimi. Because of our time constraint, we may have to actually be done with your contribution so far to the questions from one of our audience. The time is up, and we have to really bring the presentation to conclusion.
Sir, can you hear us, sir? We still have like, let's say 5 minutes.
Yes.
We can just say like 5 minutes.
Okay. On Zoom message,
yes,
maybe
sir.
there are added minutes you did not.
Yeah, it's just added minutes to it now. So we have a question from the audience.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
I'm commenting on your work, Isaiah, right?
Okay.
Yes, actually, I will say that I'm really impressed because I don't really know that there are this kind of paintings in churches. This kind of paintings, it's just you compare them to the works of Michelangelo. So I'm really, really, really impressed. I also noticed that many of those paintings, those beautiful paintings, that the artists are unknown. And you're talking about documentation. I don't know how you can document these works without the names of the artists. Have you actually tried to know who really did those paintings? Did you try?
Yes.
To what extent did you go? If we can document a painting that was done in 18-something, why can't we document our own? Because like what you say, the missionary just came just about a century or two ago. So can't we really look for those people that did this work
and we pen down their names or inscribe their names there. Because I know they will be Yorubas.
Yeah.
I'm sure. These beautiful paintings. Maybe we should try.
Yeah, actually, one of our problems is documentation. Mostly, that's what I think for my news. Art in Orthodox churches in our systems. So, combination of Baptists, Catholic, Methodist, Anglican, and what is it? Yeah. So what I discovered is that majority of the artists do not sign up. And even when I found out from the elders, the pastors, most of the churches, they transfer their passport. They will tell you they don't have to passports. So little names of the artists that I was able to gather, I need to label. So people will directly go and make that. But at the end of the day, I make sure that about for something sense names of the artists were there.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Chairman, over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Bunjimi, for that wonderful contribution. The audience want to appreciate you also for your contribution and your question and suggestions. They are brilliant. I want to also ask, do we have any other person from the audience who want to ask or probably contribute one or two things within a minute? Do we have anybody like that? Of course, we know we have brilliant minds in the audience who want to actually contribute to what we have been able to have our presentations today. Do we have anybody like that? Any contribution? Any questions?
Okay, yes, we have a question. We have one.
Okay, let's just we have to make it brief because of time. Yes, please.
And mine is sorry, I cannot remember the name. It's okay, Mr. Adaibo on presentation. I want to ask. Mine is technical. Which approach or method do you use in on? Because I have heard you mention something qualitative. This is why we have mentioned primary source of data, but I have seen something like you have mentioned two other methods then. And from your own introduction, I want to know either it's your own research, are you a historian or probably arts and theater awards? Because from the introduction, I have seen only 3 sentences without a detailed explanation of what you have mentioned. Because in my own case in history, you have to like said more of what you have just mentioned from your own
methodology, right?
Yes, I'm asking for that. You have said Christianity was introduced in the 10th century, if I can remember. And just stop there. Without probably further explanation by who and in where, and like maybe other details regarding the coming of Christianity in Nigeria, as you have rightly mentioned in your introduction. That's my own area.
Actually, it is the first of time that I did not say so many things. So we as a visual artist, I mean, we have the methodology that leads us to portrait. So starting from the primary source of data collection, secondary source of data collection to sampling. But we don't name, at times we don't name, we don't add some of these things. Even in this presentation, he has also talked about methodology, but we don't know if you don't, I mean, listen very well. So it's because I add some of it that you are going to know that this is methodology or whatever. So we have the methodology that we use in artistry.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Mr. Chairman, so you can continue now.
All right, thank you so much, Seth and Mars, for your time today. I want to believe that we have been able to learn one or two things from this presentation, which make this presentation a worthy one. I want to appreciate the organizers of this excellent conference for this opportunity to have the room to discuss on very crucial issues that affect the built environment and the society actually. So we want to actually notify our audience that another phase of this panel comes up on the 28th of this month in this same conference that is currently underway. We want to also endear you to please be available for the presentation of excellent scholars from across various institutions in Nigeria and abroad. And of course, it's going to be an excellent one. Of course, we've seen a lot of presentations today on plastic waste and of course how it impacts the environment and of course how we can actually use art to salvage the situation. Then of course we were able to know about the existing mural paintings in Baptist churches, and then of course, brilliant contributions from the audience. All of this have been able to make this presentation an excellent one, and of course, a worthy one. So with this, we want to thank the panelists, Dr. Ogundimi and Dr. Olaromi Stephen, both from Rhodes University in South Africa. Then of course, we want to thank our host for this excellent opportunity to have our voice heard globally through this excellent conference, LSA 2025. With this very viewpoint, we want to believe that we've been able to enlighten ourselves with this wonderful panel. So, to actually bring this panel to actually look up for all time. Once again, my name is Ajayi Olaimi, and I'm the panel chair for this wonderful gathering. Want to hope that we're going to still meet some other time, especially on the 20th of this month, like I said. Before then, want to wish every one of you a wonderful session, even as you go ahead with other sessions scheduled for today. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for everything you have contributed. For those who have one or two days to contribute, but because of time constraints, we want to actually invite you to also be part of the conference. Of course, the book that is coming is an opportunity to also contribute to your whole, of course. And then you can watch out for the full detail of the manuscript of each of these presenters from the book we're proposing, which will be released later in this year. So with this, we want to bring this session to a close. Thank you all for your time. I leave you all in God's blessings. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.